Malaysia, kok bisa kalian itu melakukan hal ini gitu? Bisa merubah mindset orang, pandangan orang akan hal ini, kok bisa gitu loh? Kok bisa kalian begitu ya? Allahu Akbar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jumpa lagi dengan saya guys, CAKMOJIB. Gimana nih kabar teman-teman semua? Semoga sehat selalu dalam lindungan Allah Subhanahu wa taala, dijauhkan dari segala mara bahaya, malapetaka, bencana dan balak serta berbagai macam penyakit. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Alright guys, kali ini kita akan reaksi sebuah video yang sangat menarik sekali, dimana banyak orang-orang berpandangan jelek tentang Islam, tapi negara Malaysia ini justru merubah mindset orang, pemikiran orang, pemahaman orang tentang Islam. Kok bisa begitu? Kok bisa Malaysia ini menjadi banyak tumpuan orang-orang luar ketika mau belajar Islam? Kok bisa? Nah, ternyata ini loh yang dilakukan oleh Malaysia guys, yang membuat saya itu kayak wow, ternyata gila banget gitu loh. Jadi tanpa berlama-lama, jom kita simak videonya sehingga kita mendapatkan pengetahuan dan juga pelajaran dari video ini. Jom kita play videonya, let's go.
Banyak orang dari luar negara kini mulai membuka mata setelah datang ke Malaysia. Sebelumnya, sebagian dari mereka sudah lebih dulu terpengaruh oleh berita-berita barat yang sering menggambarkan Islam dengan citra negatif. Narasi yang dibentuk media tersebut melahirkan gelombang Islamofobia di banyak negara, terutama di barat. Namun saat mereka berkunjung dan melihat langsung kehidupan di Malaysia, pandangan itu mulai berubah.
As I said, I'm going to be telling you about the different countries that I've traveled and lived and worked in and what I learned from each. I told you about South Korea, you can find the video. Today I want to tell you about Malaysia. I spent a year in Malaysia and same thing, I was teaching English, but this time I was at a university and this is what I learned. I learned in Malaysia that we are more similar than we would like to think. Growing up Christian, I was taught that Muslims and Islam was a bad religion and, you know, they pray to Allah and in retrospect, Allah is God in Arabic. But I had such a negative view of a people and a religion that I had never met. And living in Malaysia, that completely flipped. I lived with two women who were around my age at the time, and they were practicing Muslims, and you know, they were praying 5 times a day, they were teaching me about their religion, but every Sunday morning, I was still going to church, every Sunday morning, they would wake me up and say, Kanisa, it's time to wake up, go to church. And the love and community that they created for me was shocking. And another thing that I learned and loved about Muslims was when they see each other in different spaces, they treat each other like brothers without knowing each other. As soon as they see you, you're Muslim, they're like, we're family. That's some gangster shit, and I loved it. And I realized that even the things that I was struggling with, the dogma that I was struggling with, the shame and guilt that I carried because of my religion, they carried it too. They carried the same dogma, they carried the same pain, the same shame, the same guilt. That's what I learned in Malaysia, and Malaysian food, fucking fantastic. You should totally visit Malaysia. It's a beautiful, beautiful country, but go with an open heart and an open mind, especially if you grew up around Christian dogma that teaches you that your religion is the best and the most awesome in the world, and try to be open into seeing how other people worship and how loving and good and kind they are, despite what your media tells you about them.
Please share to us your experience here in Malaysia as a female Muslim.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, my experience here in Malaysia as a Muslim is quite Alhamdulillah. I don't have anything to say, only Alhamdulillah. So,
do you feel safe living here? Do local people treat you equally? Do they treat you well?
Yeah, they treat me very, very well. Mostly, I would like to advise people around the world to come to Malaysia, because Malaysia is a very, very safe place. For me, Malaysians treat me like their siblings, because as an African, before coming here, I think I would find some racism here in Malaysia, but no racism in Malaysia, Alhamdulillah. Please guys, come to Malaysia.
As you can see, I'm in Malaysia right now, and I have been here for the last couple of weeks. And something I really admire about the people here is the proper adab that they have. And wallahi, we can learn a lot about their adab. They are gentle humans and extremely respectful. This is something we should all strive to be like.
Now, out of respect, I didn't like film it. Because, you know, you go into a place to talk about people's ideas and spirituality. It just doesn't seem like the right thing. But I am outside of the International Islamic... Big trucks, come on. I'm outside of the International Islamic Information Center. And, like, it's just the super friendliest guy from Ghana in there. And he's just like, hey, let's have a chat. And so we went in, I talked to him a little bit about science and my spirituality. And he talked to me about, you know, the Quran and stuff. And it wasn't like, you know, we're all taught to like fear each other's like religion and stuff like that, right? Like it comes through the media and political rhetoric and stuff. And as a Westerner, shit, that stuff's super, super strong. This was like just a great intellectual conversation between two fellas, and some other guys came in and we all agreed about like the science and the spirituality and things we can't explain and like people's path to God and stuff. And it was really, really cool because you don't get a lot of that, like where I'm from especially. So it really opened my eyes. You know, I feel like a brother, you know, you know, I think I made some friends. So if anybody is in the neighborhood, you know, swing by the center and say hello to these guys, whether I guess you're a local or a foreigner or whatever, and you're just curious, man, and you want a cool conversation. Nice cold water and AC as well, so can't complain about that. Anyway, just letting you know it's here, and had a really great time in there with those guys. Really, really nice.
Because I migrated to Malaysia last year, and cost of living is really cheap.
I've heard the people are absolutely beautiful.
They're amazing people. I mean, I'm Muslim, and I've been to lots of Muslim countries. I've been around the Arab world.
I'm a Muslim as well.
Are you?
Yes.
And how's that come about? Because you don't like...
I converted to Islam 30 years ago.
Oi! Are you recording this?
Wow. I converted 30 years ago. So my English name is Tony Sykes.
Yep.
And my Muslim name is Mohammed Saifullah.
Mohammed Saifullah. That's a
so you can see why I'm against the riba.
Yep.
Especially to any Muslims that are watching.
Yep.
Avoid the riba. Because if you're dealing in riba, you're at war with Allah and His Messenger. We always refuse it.
I think you are right, because there is more barakah in doing it the right way, that Allah opens doors.
There is no barakah in the haram.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's true. It's true. What I'm doing is giving everybody that knowledge. Not that knowledge, because I'm not religious.
No.
And as in trained, but I do have the financial knowledge to explain to people this is what it is.
Yes, okay.
And this is how they're going to have you. And if you are in it, get rid of it as quickly as possible.
I would say get rid of it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Did you come across any impressions that Saudi have about Malaysia or Malaysians? Or any stereotypes?
I wouldn't say stereotypes, but Saudi Arabian people usually think that Malaysian people are very decent. They abide by the rules. They do not create a chaos. They always abide by any rules implied by anybody. And they are not problematic. So let's say, by any chance, if there's a Malaysian in a trouble or something, they're gonna believe the Malaysians, because Malaysians usually will never lie about anything. That's the impression of the Saudis on Malaysians.
That's a beautiful one.
Yeah, they know that Malaysians, they're not involved in any fraudulent activity. So the Saudis completely believe the Malaysian people.
Malaysia did something that the world could really learn from. In recent news, some really horrible news from Sweden about some right-wing extremist who basically was burning holy scriptures and attacking the Muslim religion and the Islamic faith. I've lived in Muslim majority nations for, you know, on and off for the last 3 years, you know. Being in Malaysia for such a long time, I'm used to how welcoming and how accepting and how peaceful the people of the Islamic faith are. You know, I always say that you'll never have any trouble, you'll never have any scams, and you'll never have any rip-offs with people in that community. But you know how Malaysia reacted? Well, Malaysia did something that the world could really learn from. Recently, Anwar responded and said, you know what we're going to do? If this guy burns one of our Qurans, what we're going to do is we're going to print 1 million more and share them out. That response is a very, very peaceful response, and he said, you know, we are a peaceful religion, the world could really, really take something out of that. They didn't react violently, they didn't react angrily. I mean, this extremist, he clearly wanted a response from the Islamic community. And you know what? They didn't give him the response that he wanted. I think he wanted to drive tensions, divisions, and something like Malaysia knows all too well with diversity. They understand diversity, other communities, whereas this guy clearly doesn't. He's probably never ever even heard of Malaysia, otherwise he'd understand how accepting and how peaceful and coexisting people are here. I mean, this, for example, is a Muslim majority nation, and let me tell you, there are many communities that live under this country. You don't eat beef? No problem. You know, you don't eat pork? No problem. You want to drink? That's okay. You know, people are so accepting of other people's cultures here. It's just a way of life. So it really doesn't surprise me that, you know, Malaysia reacted like that. And you know what? It was a really, really good response, and a great response from Anwar, the Prime Minister here in Malaysia. The thing is in England we have a real trouble with integration, with diversity, and, you know, understanding different cultures. Malaysia clearly does, because Malaysia says, you know, look, we're not going to react violently, because you know what, that's just going to drive the tension, that's going to drive the division.
Jadi memang mengamalkan, di Malaysia itu kayak mengamalkan. Jadi memang Islam gitu, agama di sana itu utamanya. Dan di bawah negara Malaysia itu semuanya itu hidupnya tenang, damai, kayak gitu lah guys ya. Berbeda dengan negara-negara lain ya, memang mungkin ya mayoritas istilahnya Kristen gitu. Tapi kalau ada Muslim di sana itu kayak mereka ditindas dan lain sebagainya. Itu yang terjadi gitu kan.
We're gonna print 1 million copies and hand them out peacefully. Best response you can give. And you know what?
Over the past couple of days, I have made 2 videos talking about Islam, specifically what I think about the call to prayer and the fact that I've been reading the Quran. And you would not believe the amount of negative comments I have received. And keep in mind here, I'm a non-Muslim. I wasn't preaching the word of the Quran. I wasn't trying to convert people. Not that it should matter if I was, but I simply made a video talking about how much I love the sound of the call to prayer, and another one saying that I'm reading the Quran because I love to learn. I'm in a predominantly Muslim country and I like to expand my mind as much as I can. And whilst the vast majority of the comments I received were very, very positive from Muslims and non-Muslims alike, people in the UK, people in Malaysia, people all over the world, there were a lot of very racist, very, very Islamophobic comments, threats of physical violence, all sorts of things, just for talking about Islam. Now, I'm a grown man, and I used to work on a building site in the UK, so there's not really a lot you can say that will surprise or upset me personally. But I just think it's a real shame that just to talk about a subject brings all these people out of the woodwork that feel that it's acceptable to just attack for no actual reason. And the saddest thing about it is that a lot of these people, many of whom were saying the most vile, disgusting things, claim to be Christian. I grew up around Christians. That is not how Christians behave. And I'm sure most people that actually have read the Bible and follow it would not agree with that sort of behaviour whatsoever. And like I say, that's just me, a non-Muslim, just acknowledging Islam, just appreciating Islam, trying to learn about it and share things with you on my channel. I cannot even imagine the sort of abuse that some Muslims must get when they want to talk about their religion on their social media channels.
Alright, so he's a super interesting case study when it comes to apostasy laws here in Malaysia. Now, I'm trying to figure this out, like, what's the difference between the Sharia courts here and the common law courts? And this is a case study which highlights the complex integration of both systems in Malaysia. In 2007, there was this lady named Lena Joy, and she wanted to convert to Christianity because she was getting into a marriage with a Christian. So Lena applied to the federal courts to change her ID, to shift her from Muslim to Christian. But the federal court ruled that she cannot do this unless she has a certificate of apostasy from the Sharia courts, the Islamic courts. But this is where it gets complex. Like, no Sharia court has ever given a certificate of apostasy because they view it as a crime, or like it's an offense. So because of this, Lena couldn't shift her identity from a Muslim to a Christian, and so her marriage wasn't recognized because these civil courts only address marriages between non-Muslims, and Lena officially was a Muslim. So yeah, despite the separation between Sharia courts and civil courts, there are elements which can be a bit more complex. Follow for more to find out.
you should learn to read Quran in Arabic. So alhamdulillah, I can read Quran in Arabic. I've been doing Quran class twice a week for about 6 months. Here's a snippet of me in my lesson tonight where
di Malaysia. Inilah
I was just going over my Surah Al-Qari'ah, which I can recite now, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Al-Qari'ah, mal-Qari'ah, wa ma adraka mal-Qari'ah. Yawma yakunnun nasul kal-farashil mabthuth. وتكن الجبال كالإهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية. So inshallah I can get better and better and recite and memorize as many surahs as possible inshallah. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Saya nak buat hijrah ke Malaysia tapi saya tak tahu bandar atau area apa saya nak duduk. Jadi kalau orang dekat komen nak tolong saya, cakap ke saya area apa yang bagus dan cantik dan selamat dan area yang saya boleh belajar tentang Islam, tentang Quran, tentang hadis dan bagus untuk saya dan isteri saya. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Mereka menyaksikan sendiri bagaimana budaya, adat dan cara hidup rakyat Malaysia merefleksikan ajaran Islam yang penuh kedamaian, toleransi dan saling menghormati. Bukan hanya sekedar teori, tetapi nilai-nilai itu benar-benar diterapkan dalam kehidupan sehari-hari, dari cara menyapa orang lain, menghargai perbedaan, hingga gotong royong yang melibatkan semua lapisan masyarakat. Hal inilah yang membuat banyak pendatang mulai memahami bahwa Islam yang sebenarnya sangat jauh berbeda dengan gambaran yang mereka terima dari media barat. Dari fenomena ini kita belajar bahwa tindakan dan teladan sehari-hari seringkali lebih kuat daripada kata-kata. Ketika kita hidup sesuai ajaran agama dengan penuh keikhlasan, orang lain akan merasakan dampak positifnya. Jadikan keramahan, toleransi, dan rasa hormat sebagai identitas kita, karena dari situlah kebenaran akan berbicara dengan sendirinya. Jangan pernah lelah menunjukkan nilai-nilai baik, sebab perubahan besar sering dimulai dari hal-hal kecil yang kita lakukan setiap hari.
Wow, keren banget ya guys ya. Istilahnya para bule-bule ini, turis-turis ini yang datang ke Malaysia, bahkan mereka istilahnya yang fobia terhadap Islam, Islamfobia namanya itu ya. Istilahnya banyak orang yang takut dengan Islam ya, karena media-media barat itu ya kan, media-media barat itu banyak yang tidak suka dengan Islam, sehingga menyebarkan bahwasannya Islam itu jahat, Islam itu ganas, Islam itu teroris dan lain sebagainya. Jadi di situ yang membuat orang-orang itu takut kepada Islam. Tapi ketika mereka datang ke Malaysia dan mengetahui bahwasannya agama Islam di sana sangat besar juga dan berbilang kaum juga di sana, ternyata Islam itu tidak seperti yang disiarkan. Islam itu tidak seperti yang diberitakan oleh orang-orang barat sana. Akhirnya apa? Banyak juga turis-turis yang akhirnya memeluk Islam ketika dia berada di Malaysia gitu loh guys ya. Dan kalau dari pembahasan tadi kalau kita tengok, jadi banyak orang-orang bule itu kagum juga ya melihat bagaimana sambutan orang-orang Malaysia kepada mereka gitu kan, dan mereka juga istilahnya senang belajar Islam di Malaysia seperti itu. Karena mungkin kalau kita tengok ya guys ya, hal-hal mudah saja mereka itu bisa mengajari dengan cepat gitu di sana guys ya. Kayak di masjid ada wisatanya, kayak istilahnya kita masuk ke dalam masjid itu langsung dibimbing oleh tour guide yang bisa bahasa Inggris. Jadi sangat-sangat dimudahkan gitu loh guys ya. Itu yang mungkin membuat kita itu berbeda dengan Malaysia gitu, dimana memang di sana untuk mensyiarkan Islam itu sangat-sangat kuat sekali. Dan ini menjadi pengalaman dan pelajaran juga bagi kita. Jadi mari kita terus berdakwah ya. Karena kenapa? Karena insya Allah ya dari dakwahnya kita banyak nanti orang-orang yang mendapatkan hidayah gitu kan ya. Oke, itu dulu videonya. Terima kasih sudah tengok video ini sampai selesai. Jangan lupa like, share, komen, dan subscribe. Saya pamit undur diri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.